Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. I'm Nathanius, joined by Zombie Grub, as we make our way into the elimination match of Group D for Dank here in WCS Winter Europe Edition.
You can't say that, Nate.
No?
That means things we can't talk about.
Okay. It can have other meanings that aren't inappropriate, Zombie Grub. Get your mind out of the gutter! Get your mind out of the gutter. Speaking of gutters, like we said, it's the elimination match. It's GunGFuBanDa going up against Rail in, you guessed it, another PvP. The winner goes up to the decider. The loser falls into a pit of lava. Oh boy, the stakes have never been higher here at the World Championship Series. Do you have a horse in this race, Zombie Grub? Assuming that Protoss players were horses.
Yeah. You know what? I think Rail's gonna take it, but no, actually, I think I'm with you guys. You have a Harsum fan girl, I guess in this instance. So I was like, amongst the Protoss players, I wanted him to get out, but then I thought Rail would actually have a pretty good shot in his PvPs.
He has taken a map off Cyril, which means he may have bones of adamantium, or maybe his fingernails are made of dragon glass. You know?
Dragon glass? What is that from?
That's what you need to kill the...
Really? I don't remember that.
The Night King dudes.
Oh, well, I stopped watching Game of Thrones like 2 years ago, so...
It's okay.
Yeah.
You could be like me and watch the entirety of it a couple months ago.
Well, I read the books, thank you very much, and it's been like,
who has time to read?
It's been like 5 years.
Goodness. The only thing I need to read is how many resources I have when I'm playing a game of StarCraft, Zombie Grub.
Yes, well, I'm not going to respond to that. In the top left, as the blue Protoss, it is GunGFuBanDa.
I like his clan tag. Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay.
His opponent in the bottom right. The first man to walk away, having drawn blood from the Night King here in WCS Europe. He is Rail.
#1 Russian player.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he is.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is. We actually have quite a few Russian players that got through the qualifiers this year. So yeah, it's cool to see.
Yeah. StarCraft, constantly growing, constantly moving. Regional players and titans rising and falling.
Ooh, well thank you, GunGfu, for giving us something to talk about.
That is a very quick nexus, a one game does he think that Rail's playing Terran? Zombie Grub, what's happening?
Yeah, I feel like the last time I saw this was Bisu trying it in Pro League like 6 years ago, and then getting absolutely like slapped down for it.
Is this the day that the metagame changes forever?
No.
Is GunGFuBanDa the Avatar? Is he coming to save us?
I don't think so. I think that this is a very bold move that is asking to be punished. The thing is that you're always going to get this fairly early probe scout in PvP, so there are ways to change up what your plans were, even if you plan going into...
He sees that and he goes double stalker.
There you go. Exactly. Maybe he was planning on going for a sentry and then he changed his mind.
Isn't the thing to go adepts and just kill all the probes since there's not enough units?
Well,
I could be wrong, but maybe he just opens 4 stalker and kills them too. I don't know.
Well, the really nice thing about the adepts, right, is that they theoretically would be able to enter the main.
Yeah.
But if they're just stuck at the natural, then they don't actually do that much damage to scare. But oh my god!
Oh, he sees it.
Nicely done.
Oh my goodness, GunGFuBanDa gonna let that go up? The stalkers aren't here yet.
Yeah, he really shouldn't. Like, he has 1 stalker here.
As much as you can.
Ideally, I'd say...
You know what? This looks like a tilt build from Rail. Look, he starts to Stargate right in his face.
What?
Rail's like, are you really trying to be this greedy? Do you think we're on the NA server? Let's go. And now I'm concerned. This is terrifying.
Shield battery does get taken out. That was very close to being saved for the other one. But there's still 1 available for the stalkers. There's 2 available for GunGfu stalkers.
He's just gonna build Void Rays and 3-gate them?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he is.
This is horrifying.
This is... Well, not the PvP we expected, maybe when we had Haas in the NA group, but...
This is GunGFuBanDa's gonna have like that fate. If he loses here, it's gonna be like, goodness. It's like, I immediately regret this decision. You've
Right.
noticed that I've been a little bit greedy, and you've decided to build your whole entire base outside of mine.
Yeah. I am fairly sure that GunGfu wasn't expecting this reaction. At best, he was hoping that his opponent would be like, oh, well, I have to do something, so I'll
and
make
he can't even
stalkers,
make
I
use of
guess.
the natural because he can't build probes. He needs every penny to build units.
But what if he's actually still okay with dealing with this? I can't believe
then
that he's
the
gotten
game
that
is
much
over.
practice.
At this point, the entire outcome of this game is purely dependent on Rail killing GunGFuBanDa now. You don't transition out of building your whole base in front of the enemy.
No, you don't. No, but like this is.
Ooh,
I feel like
good
this
pick.
is something that definitely GunGfu can defend. He's got a lot of shield batteries. He's got force fields, so he only has to deal with the void ray.
Well,
I guess.
he's still going to have to deal with the shield batteries of his opponent. It's not
That's
like
true. Yes.
the defender's advantage is no longer a factor in this game. This is basically like the same as if both players had proxied each other.
Yes, that is certainly a way to look at it. GunGfu's always going to have that nexus that he believes that time is on his side.
He's building probes again.
I don't know about that. But I mean, he might not have the production to even make.
If he kills
anything
if
else.
he starts killing the void rays, this does fall apart very quickly.
That was very close. I mean, his units are all still very
Batteries
healthy.
are running low though. Batteries are running low.
Yeah.
My battery is low and it's getting dark.
Oh no, no, not that one. So we have another full shield battery ready to go for Rail that he could dip back into, and he doesn't. He's maybe going to lose that void ray. He does, but there's so many stalkers left over for Rail, or sorry, for GunGfu that maybe he can hold. More shield batteries for him are also coming up here. I mean, he's at 3 gateway production too. Yes.
Yeah, if he gets a right click on that void ray, I think this game is over. With he's done a really good job defending so far. Stalker count looks good.
Mm-hmm. He might have. I mean, if this
Another battery ready too.
if this was a bait move, then like congratulations to GunGfu, but I think he's just reacting very appropriately.
It feels so weird the way that he's stuck here though, because like what you really want to do, okay, a couple sentries and say force fields be really big. You really want to get rid of the void ray and deny the high ground vision, but that force field's really good. Clean up some more of the stalkers on the ramp, get the void rays.
But with the force fields, he makes sure the stalkers can't run back to the short shield battery, so he gets 2 right there while keeping most, if not all, of his alive. Void ray is so darn low anyways, and Rail can't afford another one.
There we go. Void ray is super dead. Now with the shield battery, he's able to help mid-fight, and high ground vision about to be lost for Rail. GunGFuBanDa's done it. GG! Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was I saw GunGfu setting up, like it's different maybe if he had never gotten a scout, which seems absurd to think that would
Maybe
happen.
GunGFuBanDa has played Rail, tried this build on like a barcode, and it's like, Rail really overreacts to a quick Nexus. I'm going to do a 300 IQ play and go fast expand just so he tries to all-in me.
If that was his plan, then it's amazing, right?
Yeah,
But-
he's a straight-up mastermind out of a movie, man.
But I think we can certainly look at that game and say that he also just reacted appropriately to what he scouted. He's like, oh, you're attacking me, you're fully committed, I'm going to build shield batteries. The default response.
Yeah. Which unit saw the batteries?
The
Was
the
Probe
stalker.
coming back first?
Oh, no,
Because I feel like there's a world where you're a little bit like defensive when you do that type of greedy playing. You
Right.
keep stalker like in your main or by your natural, hold the ramp. You don't like step outside. And if you don't see that, like he killed one of the first 2 shield batteries, which I also think was really important.
I see your point, but it just is like in the beginning of a PvP where regardless if your opponent goes sentry, stalker, or adept, one stalker kind of looking at what they've got, moving forward doesn't sound that insane.
Okay.
And that's I thought that's what I saw at
I would be
first.
paranoid. I would be paranoid, but then again, I also don't play Protoss, so.
Well, it worked out really well for him. Getting that first shield battery did
That
help.
was a fun, exciting game. That might be the
Yes.
most unique PvP we've seen in WCS Winter so far.
We liked Puck's Cannon Rush yesterday.
Puck's Cannon Rush was good, but I actually think this was
This was even better?
even more unique. Yes,
Okay.
we haven't had it. I do not believe we've had a game like this in Winter yet.
No, of course not.
Mostly every PvP is some variety of 2-gate, and even then, like Cannon Rushes, you still do see Cannon Rushes don't feel weird to me anymore. There's a period of time in StarCraft history where people like never really Cannon Rushed after they like nerfed the high ground thing, and then all of a sudden a few maps brought it back, and it's like I don't know. I feel like, especially if you play ladder, like tournaments, people don't risk it as much, but you see Cannon Rushes a lot more these days.
That is true. My point was going to be that like Cannon Rushes don't win that often.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's why you don't see them as much in the pro play. But like compared to like if you watch streams or just play, It is so much more. Ever since Haas's run last year, actually, it changed everything.
It did, yeah. Well, I don't expect another wacky game like that. We're on Kairos Junction. In the top left, down 1, it is the blue Protoss Rail.
And his opponent in the bottom right, spawning as the red Protoss player, leading 1-0. He is GunGFuBanDa. I'd like to see him do it again, though, Zombie Grub. He's up 1-0. He clearly knows how to hold the all-in when he goes for that build.
Yeah, well, I think one of the reasons he did it on Cyber Forest was because, and I meant to mention this, but like the high
There's
ground,
a ramp,
right?
yeah, there's a ramp into the natural. If he does it on this map and that same situation occurs, I do think he loses. It'd be a lot harder for him to hold the attack, because the big thing there, of course, you get pushed down the ramp and then you lose high ground vision, and that's it. It's over.
Mm-hmm. So we don't see that again. No. There's 2 gateways. GunGFu just throwing that out once. Testing the waters, and ended up working out really well. Rail, I wouldn't say Rail overreacted. It just didn't. It didn't actually. It was a reaction that I could see being worthwhile in like other games. So there's a 1 gateway expand in PvP, but then there's it's got to be so hard to test something like that. It's got to be hard finding someone who does that opener.
It's like sometimes when you like play, even if I guess like PvZ, like you scout and you're like, oh, you went double hatch before pulls. Like, well, people don't do this all the time, but like, do I want to try and do my, you know what I mean? Like some people like they're gonna respond by just being like, okay, I'll just play normal and try to win, and then there's people who will respond by like, I'm going to just try and kill you immediately for that. Rail having a little bit of a connection issue to the video game. Yeah, that seems like it's going to be a dropout entirely to me. Yeah.
Taking bets?
Well.
No? Okay.
Yep. Yep. Oh, wow. Didn't even finish the countdown there. That's unfortunate. I think we'll probably end up resuming this one. Sometimes it happens. You know, as Tasteless always used to say back in the day, said the internet is the vehicle that drives esports. And sometimes you have to replace an axle on the bus, you know? Got to pull over at a random shop in the middle of Milwaukee on your way west and get it fixed up. So we're gonna do that. He's gonna take care of that, and we're gonna talk about StarCraft more, I guess.
I guess so. I guess we gotta.
Did you finish your war chest, Zombie Grub?
Nope. It literally came out like Wednesday or something. Can you just calm down there for a second?
Zombie Grub, you're telling me you get paid to talk about StarCraft and you don't have your war chest done yet?
Yes. Yes, I am.
It's okay. It's not that big a deal.
I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I take a lot of pride in having my war chest done.
I think I don't even remember what account I have a war chest on. I think I might have it on both my accounts. All of them. I think I do.
That's right. See that dope gateway? Hell yeah. Final phase of the war chest just opened up, actually. So you can get everything. You can even get it watching this stream. Imagine unlocking StarCraft experience just by looking at my face instead of playing StarCraft. There's a lot of people that take that option. I'm just putting it out there, you know? Connect your Battle.net account to your Twitch account today. I learned something, Zombie Grub.
What's that?
So a guy proxied me.
Okay.
And he didn't have the building skins.
No.
And I have all of them now, right? So for add-ons, buildings, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I lifted my barracks and I landed it on his tech lab as a show of dominance. I had kind of already won the game.
It sounds like it.
And the skin of the tech lab that I stole did not change. So you do not change building skins if you steal an add-on.
That makes
now
sense.
we know. Now we know.
Yeah, for all the times that we see add-ons stolen in professional games, with all the Terrans we have in the European region.
Well, for that TVT in Europe, right? Hey, we could have a TVT in the Americas group today, right? We had 2 Terrans there. Am I crazy?
We definitely have.
There's one of each race. Yeah, I know
that.
I believe it's 2 Terrans, a Protoss, and a Zerg.
I am blanking so much right now. Yeah, it's time, and then but I forget where the other one goes.
Yeah.
I'm blanking.
Otacon will let me know in my ear soon. It's okay. It's Time and Kelazur.
Oh right, yeah, Kelazur. Good to see him again.
So we just need one of them to proxy, and then we need another one to steal the add-on afterwards. All right, they're just making sure that the connection's good. We have the lobby open. We'll be getting back into this game in just a brief moment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are in this wonderful world. If you haven't already, make sure you check out that war chest that we were talking about. But also, there's tons more WCS and StarCraft coming up. We are finishing up the round of 16 today. It's been a blast. We've done like 3 weeks, 4 days on, boom, grinding out all these groups. It's been awesome to have you guys hanging out with us. But we'll be going for a bit of a break after today as the StarCraft world prepares its body for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, which, by the way, your war chest purchases have heavily contributed to the prize pool of.
Yeah.
And that'll be really cool. There's a ton of money at stake. All your favorite players are going to be there between the WCS circuit and the WCS Korea system. So some of your favorite GSL players will be competing. And that tournament is always great. That's going to be a blast.
Yeah. For a lot of people, it is the best tournament of the year.
Yep. So that's going to be great. And the crowd always shows up there. So
yes,
that'll be an awesome tournament. And then we're going to finish up WCS Winter around late March, early April.
Early April.
Yeah, and that's when it's going to get done. So we'll go through the round robin, and then we'll go through our bracket. And then we move on to the rest of the seasons.
Yes, indeed. The rest of the seasons.
I tried to get them to change the schedule because the Groundhog said that spring is actually already here. So I was like, we got to change to WCS Spring now. But apparently there's like a contract or something.
Yeah, they didn't really care, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know you had to reserve the name of each season. So you guys all learned something there today.
We're just waiting for them to decide.
They're talking.
It's 5 seconds before, 3 seconds before.
They started speaking in Russian.
Well, I think Alex, another observer here, was trying to explain what the question was. So they decided on 3 seconds.
Oh, 3 seconds before the drop, or 5 seconds before the drop.
Exactly.
That's what that debate was over. Okay.
Yes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Did he lose his whole army right when he dropped? Okay. Not sure.
Nothing actually happened. I think the end argument was it's the beginning of the game.
Mine is not to reason why, so.
Yeah. As long as the build orders are blocked, which they are when you recover game, then we're not in any micro-intensive situation. I think it's all right.
We're good. That's all that matters. Everything is okay, guys. We promise.
Wow.
And we are going to load back into the game. Okay, well, Zombie Girl won't promise. I'll promise. We're loaded in, ready to get this one back on the road.
Fancy countdown.
Fancy countdown.
There we go. Almost at the intros again. Just freaking out.
No. Can't make me.
No, won't make
I'm contractually obligated to do intros for each unique game, okay? Not for recovered games.
Remember before there was a recover game?
That was the worst of times.
Oh, I feel like, oh wait, hold on.
Rose-colored nostalgia glasses are crazy for StarCraft 2.
The StarCraft 2 team Prime, Marine King Prime.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think they would disagree with you. I think they would say that was the best time. Because they stole GSTL win. It's fine. I'm not salty from something that happened 7 years ago.
I don't even remember that one. When I think of team leagues, I think of Axiom winning, and I think of Tasia ruining the IPTL.
There was the one I'm talking about is the famous one where like it dropped and then everyone in the crowd got the reaction and then Harding was winning.
That was the infamous moment where they decided that they had to put in the resume from replay.
Yeah, exactly. And Harding was winning and then he ended up having to regame entirely. You know what? Okay. As I said, I wasn't salty about it. I'm fine.
So like I said, people really love to romanticize the past, but we didn't have all these wonderful tech features. Also, every single game literally ended with Broodlords.
Oh yeah, good times.
Even non-Zerg matchups, but
yeah. Sometimes it ended with a toilet flush,
I always love when people are like, I preferred the game way back to the day when all the maps had the rush distance of the size of your main on this map.
Yeah, they're actually insane.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so GunGFu opened up with that Sentry, so we got the Hallucinated Phoenix seeing the Oracle pop out, as well as an immediate Robo follow-up. Rail went for a couple of Adepts, it just not done anything yet.
Yeah, everything looks mostly okay here. I always like going fast Immortal in PvP. I like seeing Protoss do it. I feel like it keeps you safe, and I also really love when they go for the Prism follow-up too. The Immortal shotgun in PvP is really fun to do. A lot of fun micro that you can accomplish. Assuming your opponent doesn't open Stargate, you're pretty good. Rails Oracle is going to get in, and everything's on the map. Yeah. Everything's on the map right now for GunGFuBanDa. So just frying up some probes.
You know what happened there? That's
put some A1 on it.
That's a very interesting choice from GunGFu, since he knew that it was going to be an Oracle, as the Stargate was scouted, and you can see what's building in the Stargate. But
oh my God, those force fields!
well,
Wow, he actually blocked all of them in. Beautiful. Oh, okay. Well, GunGFuBanDa, he is riding the struggle bus right now.
I feel like
express ticket to Pain City.
he put down this pylon and it felt like he had to use it
Yep.
or something, so that's why he attacked. Or, I mean, he saw 2 adepts. There's a chance that that robotics facility was being used to build an observer or a warp prism first, or both first, right? I kind of understand why he would try to poke at the opponent, but the Oracle swooping in plus the Immortal already being ready, that was a complete disaster. Rail should be feeling very happy and
You know what
immediately
this
counter.
reminds me of? This reminds me of looking at Harsum's army on the King's Folk game. It's like, I'm going to push out with a bunch of Stalkers, a few Sentries. Actually, you know what?
Well.
It seems like catching him in the middle here has been sick. The Prism, he got it.
Dang.
Okay, well, this, I was about to start talking about how he was doing this desperation counterattack, and he still kind of has to keep moving here, but that went really well.
Yeah.
Man, if only he had suicided his units in the middle of the map when Harsum was trying to do this attack. Then I would have thought that build was much better.
Is this still gonna work though? Like, they both have made pretty
He's only got
severe
one battery.
mistakes.
He's got a lot of force field. I think he could probably possibly do it.
Well, an
You need to
Immortal,
get that Stalker.
an Immortal's about to pop out, which is gonna really, really help. I mean, a very, very forward pylon's coming down.
He lost the Sentry that had all the energy.
Yeah, the shield batteries were gonna finish up too, it looks like, to help out here.
Oh
The
my God,
Vocal,
I think the Oracle's killing his mineral line again during this. All right.
a little bit, yes.
Game
for the
3,
gas.
boys. Game 3, hype.
Yeah, it is gonna happen. Even without the probes going down,
Not bad.
Rail
but
was gonna
still,
win.
Super dead.
shield batteries were actually canceled. Figured he didn't need them. The Immortal popping out. His army standing strong. Rail is going to do the attack he meant to do like a minute and a half ago, and this time he won't get surprised, loses Warp Prism, loses the Immortal, and will probably win the game.
As Todd would say, Luca D-Supply. And then realize that D-Supply for GunGFuBanDa is all Stalkers versus 2 Immortals, which will kill everything.
Yeah, no follow-up tech whatsoever for GunGFu. I mean, an attack like this can work out against someone who's teching, but it just
But this is
the awkward
StarCraft.
timings, man.
So,
Yeah,
got him.
yeah, it was Tekken. I don't even know any names from Tekken. Otherwise, I would have continued with that.
all I know is that there's a guy who can basically spin on his head the whole
Yes.
fight and kill everybody. That's the only guy I played.
There's a guy with like the Jaguar mask.
Was that Brody? No, Brody's the guy from SSX Tricky. He's the
Oh.
cool guy. Eddie Gordo, yeah. If I could breakdance fight like that,
Darn,
I wouldn't be here, Zombie Grub.
messing up my fighting games. That's fine, because all I really watch StarCraft. This is going to be a good enough killing blow, as good as GunGFu's trying to hold on, man. He's got his units blocked in main. His probes going to be pulled without any support whatsoever. This is going to be an ace match.
GG. Yeah. And appreciate the effort there from GunGFuBanDa trying to bring it back, but no, that attack went in. It failed. I saw a world where that Sentry had like enough for 2 force fields, tries to hit the ramp again and like keep the Immortal from coming down and like
Yeah.
maybe get something going there. But that Sentry was all the way at the front. It died immediately, and then I'm like, well, that's it. He has no more force fields, so.
Yeah, maybe that would have been the big difference maker, but there's still so many other things. The probe count still heavily in favor of Rail. Shield battery's about to finish, not being
I
targeted.
feel like we've been seeing more force field play in PvP, and then I'm reminded that even though you can like parse all those units, you still have to have units that can kill the units that are stuck by the force fields.
That's very true. Still have to have units actually do damage.
Yeah, and to
Just
do it at
sentries.
that timing, it's just Stalkers, and then you're like, well, I don't have Immortals, and once my opponent gets a few Immortals, my Stalkers become worthless.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be...
Even with that catch in the middle of the map, too, by the way.
Yeah, that was really...
You got the Prism and an Immortal for free.
That was almost a throwback.
Yeah.
That almost happened.
Just
So
just a couple of kids playing catch out on the pitch, you know?
yes. We're going to be getting to Year Zero as our third and final map for these guys.
Yeah.
This could be the end of Rail's WCS run or GunGFu's. Who's it going to be?
one can survive.
Who's it going to be? Rail, I mean, I feel like he was ultimately...
Really disappointing for Rail to take a map off Cyril and then get eliminated.
Yeah, I guess that is true. But I was going to say that I felt like he was the one that got bamboozled in the first game. It's like
Yeah.
It's like someone opened up their arms. It's like, you know, he tried to pet a cat that like rolled over on its stomach.
But the cat
He's
didn't
like,
have
"Aw."
fur. It was actually fiberglass or something, and then his like hands got all cut up or something like that.
I was just gonna say the cat.
Idea.
The cat flips out like it does. when
Oh
it's
yeah,
like-
cats just don't like being interacted with in general. My bad.
Cat
That's
flips
also
out.
true.
Yes, that's what I was going with. But yeah, that's what happened there. So Rail, I feel, is the is one that got bamboozled and took second game still pretty convincingly. Not exactly the cleanest games, actually, really.
No.
There's been no just like, okay, this person's obviously better than the other person. But everyone, as I said, everyone in this group, the Protoss, I believe all of them have their best matchups being PvP, whereas
You gotta be good.
PvC is really close.
I mean, when these guys have to play against players like Showtime, especially, like, as long as you're high enough up on the ladder to occasionally get games against Showtime, your PvP should just get better automatically.
As long as you reach that point.
If you can get up there, you know.
And
That's why
occasionally.
That's why PvT is always weird, right? Because you gotta to be very high on Mamat hero marine. Otherwise, all your practice against just a Muslim.
Those are the only two Terrans in the world. In Europe.
Pretty much.
Europe
Might
world.
as well be.
Yeah, okay. In the top left is the blue Protoss. It is Rail.
Soul's gonna show up with his jacked arms and tear my head straight off my shoulders tonight. In the top right, the red Protoss player, he is GunGFuBanDa.
Need thermal? What is thermal gonna do? Get Hearthstone to beat up on you?
I mean, if one of those guys is coming to beat up on me, I hope they bring Stroop Waffles. That's all I'm gonna ask. That's what I need in my life.
I feel like I see that the same brand I get in Europe. I see it everywhere. in my hometown.
Dalmans? They're the good one. They're the big
I
one. They're
guess.
everywhere. Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't have a preferred Stroop Waffle brand.
I'm sorry, man.
Zombie grub.
It's another thing I'm not really that much of a fan of.
You
That
know,
just means you
while
can have all
you're-
mine.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was gonna say while you're here in Burbank, there's a World Mart. You can go get Stroop Waffles. You can go get Dalman Stroop Waffles from there.
Yes, my
Legit.
the East Coast also has world markets.
Do you? Do they?
Yes.
Wow, that's
That's
fascinating.
shocking. I know.
That's absolutely mind blowing.
That's just blew my
Where I'm from,
mind.
back east, we just have farms, and
Yes.
if you're lucky, you can get Chinese food, but that's about it.
Yeah, I've been to rural Pennsylvania. I know what it's like. It's something. It's an experience. Lots of
Beautiful
trees.
is what it is.
Lots of trees. Yeah.
Yes, lots
Exactly.
of trees. That's the best part.
So once again, normal openers in this PvP. No one willing to go for a cannon rush or that one gate nexus.
Yeah, we get to do the fun thing where we just talk about nothing until Cybernetics Core finishes, and then we pray that they both don't build the same thing.
Man, why did you have to bring up waffles? Because I know you're bringing up a very specific snack, but now I want waffles.
And I was talking to our buddy backstage about chicken and waffles. There's a couple good spots for those actually around here.
I've only ever had it once, and I don't think it was a particularly good place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can also just cut the middleman out and just go to a good fried chicken place if that's what you're into. You know.
You can just go to IHOP first, and then good fried chicken place after. Basically chicken and waffles.
Don't ever make that suggestion.
No, not a fan? All right.
No. So Bob's Big Boy down the street. Jeez, zombie grub.
I will actually want to go there because of Austin
So
Powers.
good. Yes.
Or, I mean, maybe it's good. I don't care.
This isn't. It's not. We're not in London, so it's not the Bob's Big Boy from Austin Powers. But yes, you get the same emotional validation out of it. There's also not a secret 70s swinger club party going on upstairs, tragically.
Is this where we do the Austin Powers joke when it's like, it's funny how, like, London looks exactly like Southern California or whatever it was? Like, wasn't that the same?
Yeah,
burger
well, that's the
joint?
scene that they did on the PCH, right? Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
Okay.
Good times.
Finally, a showing of tech paths here. Twilight versus Stargate.
Oh,
Mm.
you're right. Oh, goodness.
Blue Sand Phoenix from
ahead.
both sides. Both gonna get that scout.
What's up? Doesn't see. Oh, there we go. There we go. See the Twilight Council.
Yeah, barely caught it.
And there's a real Stargate being made at home for Rail. He starts up a robotics facility, too. So
Yeah.
he knows just going to get some immortals out after.
Well, he's doing the exact same build, I believe, as last game. So we might even see him push out at the exact same time, even if GunGFu doesn't do that attack.
The Robo is also important because a common response to Stargate is to go straight for the Dark Templar. Because you're like, well, if the Protoss player is just going to build Phoenix and he doesn't get a Robo, then I can just kill him with Invisible Boys.
Invisible Boys. Yes.
Invisible Boys.
That can be a dead reaction. Deadly. An Oracle is going to be on the way now. GunGfu, he got shockingly, he was surprised, or he wasn't in position, I should say, for the Oracle, despite scouting it, despite seeming like he was going to play defensive, and then, he pushed out. I don't think we're going to have the same problem here. He doesn't have a pylon offensively, although he does kind of have a hidden one off to the side, and he's not moving his army out. In fact, warping in to defend against an Oracle. That's better. That's the best.
It is the best. So the Oracle comes out and just chilling by the natural. Gonna take the gases on that natural pretty quick, it feels like, from Rail.
Oh, you can just compare it to GunGfu's, yeah.
I do find that interesting. Well, I feel like we don't see the Protoss immediately take the natural gases, because it usually turns into like getting infrastructure up or taking the third base first. Which is why I'm curious. I guess maybe it's because he wants to build another Oracle at some point. Like, how much gas does he need? He's getting the Forge, getting Immortals, Twilight, but oh well. I'm sure it's not a huge deal. I was just a little bit staring at Protoss players playing PvP today. I feel like I see a lot of very similar things, and I'm like, that gas just looks maybe 24 seconds too early.
Suddenly you're a PvP master. You watch 8 PvPs.
The numbers, I can see all of them.
Blink is finishing up here for GunGfu. He's getting a War Prism. Can provide some aggression, take the map, probably, whereas Rail going into the standard setup for PvP eventually. The third base will be coming down. Actually, Resonant Glaives after that Blink.
Whoa.
No, man, whoa. Adepts can be really powerful for a two-base attack. Like, they have the option of shading pass and really complicating things. Like, they get half the army up on the high ground, or even if they don't shade away from the army, actually shade on top of the army, they will take hits from Immortals. They don't get hard counter like Stalkers do.
You need to be really, really precise with your attack, and I'm scared because we have 6 gateways being added by Rail. He's going to have so much production capability. When he gets charged, I find the idea of outproducing him and being able to get enough adepts to kill everything laughable. So he needs to make his play now before all of this ramp up finishes. And what if he drops the sentries under the 6th ward? Oh my god! Oh! Then,
well, then he just dropped the one.
And then he's got a daddy.
There's an Archon!
There's an Archon anyway. All the suspense is gone.
Yeah. Archon, you want to break that again?
Break the force field.
There you go, buddy. All right, so this is not going to be as cool as it could have been. It's actually not the worst thing either, though. They both had abilities to get out of there, to get out of the situation. So they're both still on 2 bases. GunGfu's still waiting for his Resonant Glaives and is finishing up his gateways.
I really like that sentry, by the way. He deliberately clicked it. He's like, if I get into the next stasis, my sentry will live a little bit longer.
Can provide.
He's got 2 Immortals stuck up there babysitting it, so he feels like he can push the natural now because of that.
I mean,
in a scenario where he... No, never mind, there's another Archon.
Yeah.
The force fields are useless now.
Charge done, Archon's done. Yeah, and the force fields are just not... The sentry's not going to help out anymore.
He canceled Resonating Glaives, by the way. I just noticed that.
Wow, that was really close to finishing.
Yep, so he was like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah. Well, I do like that choice. I mean, Braille is not playing greedy. He didn't ever go into that third base. In fact, now with +2 finishing, he could just go for the attack, and he's starting to move out a little bit here. There we go. GunGfu realized that he would not have an overwhelming amount of adepts. Adepts themselves start to really fall off as the PvP matchup goes on.
Adepts are like fun for harass, but they are just bad in straight up PvP fights because of their low range, the lower hit points than the Zealots, and of course the splash from Archons.
Yeah, this is the ideal composition.
You may not like it, but this is what it looks like. Actually,
I like it a lot. The Stalkers are going to be in a lot of trouble here. We had a robotic spade thrown down, so GunGfu's attempting it into disruptors. He already has one. A second one's about to pop out. Will that be enough? I don't know. Like Rail, he's got the army size, he's got the upgrade, he's got the quality of the army as well.
Just don't let one disruptor shot kill all the Zealots and the sentries at once.
Exactly.
Here we go.
Yeah, I guess 4 Zealots. Not bad.
And he took a pretty big chunk out of 2 of the Archons as well.
That's a very good point. Not a bad start. He also gets hopefully another shot with that disruptor because it was so far away from the actual battle happening, which still is to be determined. War Prism picks up a couple of Zealots that will get some decent harassment done, but the third Nexus is just completely gone. GunGfu making the hard choices here as he knows he's behind. His plan didn't work out.
Yep, he's got the Dark Shrine about to finish up. Is there an observer with this army is the question. Okay, he's going to recall some forces home. One observer's with the army, one observer is at home. So YOLO DTs may not be able to cut it.
Oh, ooh, this is not, well, this is going to go really poorly. Rail being caught off guard. These Zealots got the wraparound on the army, though, like, which is the funny thing. The Zealots end up being the real highlight units.
Fight got weird.
It got weird. The Stalkers just couldn't really hold up against that many Zealots, and while the Archon was taken out of commission really quickly, turns out the Zealots were still good enough. GunGfu getting his own finally involved, and that's an easier cleanup than with just the Stalkers. At this point, he's lost his entire Stalker army, and won't be remaking it. Rail is going to go into that Phoenix tech to deal with the disruptors. I mean, when all said and done, it was an awkward fight, one that Rail took better than I anticipated, but it still results in a situation where GunGfu's actually not that far behind in army. He's ahead in workers, and he's still ahead on that Nexus despite having to let it go earlier.
This game got weird. It truly did. So there's the DTs going on the south side. Man, feels like this one really has kind of been slipping out of Rail's hands. Those disruptor shots got a lot done. And now it's like, yes, I'm building Phoenix to deal with disruptors, but I don't know that there's actually a giant commitment to disruptors in this army. It's Immortals. He's going back into Immortals. It's like, I feel like GunGFuBanDa has very intelligently read the situation of this game and been like, yeah, disruptors are done. We're not doing that anymore.
And the tricky thing about that, as he won't be replacing a Stalker count most likely, is that the Phoenix, they're not going to be as useful as they are just simply taking disruptors out of commission. They are still going to be able to run around and kill probes and whatnot.
Yep.
Deal with War Prisms. Like, they're not the most useless investment, especially if you don't overmake them, which Rail has now stopped making them, as he realized perhaps that GunGfu's no longer going into disruptors.
Two observers with the army as well, ZombieGrub, being aware of the resources his opponent has available to him. Cannons being built defensively. Does not want to get blindsided by a Dark Templar.
Yeah. GunGfu going to add on disruptors slowly, surely. I mean, this could be a game of like, I don't have enough Phoenix for my disruptors, or vice versa, because they both tried to, you know, pay attention to how many their opponent was making.
I like seeing the Immortals that he, you know, I guess he only got the one there. Okay, the Phoenix are still really good.
Yeah, the Phoenix are still going to be the correct option.
I almost like the idea, though, of like you kind of get that disruptor, and then you even up the game in the way that he did, and you just stop building them, and your opponent gets Phoenix, and it's like, well, surprise, it's actually just more Zealot Archon, which the Phoenix are not going to be as good at dealing with.
Yeah, that is a good point. It just is one of those things where, like, unless we're talking about being so overboard, you're getting like 15 Phoenix.
That's true, that's true.
They're probably going to be fine.
Which we have seen as well, that did happen. So.
Yeah. No, for sure. If
you could force an overcommitment, then yeah.
But that's not what's happened here. Rail is going to send a fake Phoenix first, see the army moving in. Again, these Phoenix can be used to lift the disruptors, but also maybe deal with the War Prism, for instance. Use something that you really, really, really need when it comes to the PvP wars, because they're, I mean, it's 30, 20 armor spot lead for Rail. He's got the anti-disruptor tech still alive for now. Okay, well,
it's gonna almost lose a Phoenix.
Okay, never mind.
Colossus follow-up too here.
Yeah, if they fought, this still will be an interesting fight, because despite Rail's army lead, he is behind in upgrades now. Never started that +3 attack. And yeah, now we're going to start talking about the splash, the additional splash to an already very large army. Colossus could help out, or it could just be a big waste of minerals and gas. Feels like we haven't seen Colossus really work out in PvP yet.
No, they just don't do enough damage. Protoss units are tanky.
Yeah.
Need them Immortals and Archons.
The Archons especially, and we do see not that many here.
This choke. Okay, so it lifts up 2 disruptors. The other one I think died in the front.
Rail?
And attacking up that ramp is a great way to kill oneself. I wouldn't recommend it.
He did have like half his Zealots realize their mistake and pull back, and he still got the opening to hit the 3rd base, so GunGfu loses that once again. He got a 4th base that is done, but he lost 25 probes, so it's not like he can instantly transfer there and repair. So he's going to have to hope that his army is going to cut it. And with the upgrade, I mean, it's still, even army supplies here, it could still go very well for GunGfu.
Yep, lifts up the disruptors. They are not able to get their purification Novas off. Great arc here from Rail. The GunGFuBanDa trying to break his way out. He throws another disruptor shot, gets canceled again. And Rail continues to barely maintain that little bit of a supply lead that he has. I think the only thing that's missing, okay, yeah, he has a prison pack somewhere. Another wave of Zealots run in to bolster the attack. And with the Immortal backbone still alive and well, and all the Immortals dead for GunGFuBanDa, I don't know how he's going to defend anymore. That Colossus comes out. There's 3 Immortals here.
Yeah, they're going to be able to live through the Colossus beams, and then once they touch the Colossus, it's basically dead.
Yeah.
4th base is going to be killed. That arc of Archons.
He's like, I've got to defend this right now.
Yeah, he's desperate. It's game number 3, the loser's match. If he loses, he's out, so just stay until the very, very end. But if you don't have a 3rd Nexus, then you're still going to fall behind. So if he does clean this army up, immediately counter. But he's not going to be able to clean this up.
Yeah, it's just a lot here. There's 2 Archons in the mix for GunGFuBanDa that are going to come up front. Watching the Phoenix attack the Colossus is pretty funny, though. Just keep the Immortals alive and you're Gucci, Ming.
Yeah. One is being distracted. One's low as well.
He got the Nexus, so worst case scenario is it's just he turns into this weird game where he has to defend a 2-base push from GunGFuBanDa. By 2-base push, I mean 1-base push because the main base is totally mined out.
Yeah. I mean, this army fight became very, very, very close. The Colossus micro ended up being good enough against the 3 or 4 Zealot reinforcements at a time. But it's still Rail's game. GG.
Rail stays alive, eliminating GunGFuBanDa from WCS Winter Europe Edition. And that means that Rail still has an opportunity to get out of this group.
He has an opportunity to take on Harsum in the decider match.
Ooh, is Cyril mortal? I don't know. Everything in my life's been drawn into question.
Harsum is going to provide us with, I mean, quality games for sure, but Cyril is just...
Cyril's still Cyril. I mean,
yeah.
You know, as much as people talk about it being horrifying and terrifying that he just wins and dominates so much, there's a lot of people that enjoy watching Mr. X smash heads. I am one of those people. I'm very excited for that match. That is going to be our next one coming up here in Group D for Dankeschön, as we have Cyril, the reigning world champion, going up against the Flaming Lips.